If you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do an interview. Listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview.
I really realized, okay, I got to say something. He was like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't know who this is, but I'm going to marry him. That Steve, he was already married. And you walk in late to his show, late. You walked in late for a reason, for the attention. Not even knowing you, he said, I'm gonna marry you. Girl, who you don't call? Ocean?
Steve Harvey is right back in the spotlight, and this time he's tossing some old shade at Katt Williams again. It's not even new drama, but somehow it's blowing up fast and grabbing everyone's attention. Katt isn't staying quiet either, not at all, because now he's pulling Marjorie Harvey into the mix, and people online are locked in watching every move, just like Katt pointed out. Now things get even more intense. Katt is saying Marjorie plays a major role behind the scenes, like she's got real influence over Steve's decisions and how he moves in public. And he doesn't stop there. He goes deeper, claiming she has a strong grip on how things are handled in their circle, almost like she's calling the shots in ways people didn't expect.
A chance to talk to Katt about anything, I would just ask him what's wrong. Just what's wrong.
Then comes another twist. Katt even hints that Marjorie has been guiding her daughter Lori on how to keep that high-profile lifestyle going strong, staying in the spotlight no matter what. These are some serious claims, and even though nothing's been confirmed, it's got people talking non-stop and watching closely. Katt definitely struck a nerve with those comments, because here we are 2 years later and Steve is still bringing it up. During a recent appearance on the Pivot podcast, Steve mentioned Katt again and claimed he's just bitter and jealous of his success. But that explanation isn't sitting right with a lot of people, and it's raising serious eyebrows. If Steve really believes that, then why respond so strongly in the first place? His past reactions came off intense, and that kind of energy usually makes people start questioning what's really happening behind the scenes. It's one of those situations where the reaction ends up getting just as much attention, if not more, than the original comment, and that says a lot. Now things take another turn. There are claims from unnamed sources suggesting Marjorie may have encouraged Steve to speak out publicly. Nothing is confirmed, but it's adding a whole new layer to the conversation that people can't ignore. Online discussions are heating up, with some connecting this back to Katt's earlier statements about how success in the entertainment world can come with pressure, expectations, and influence that most people never see. Even with all this talk, none of it has actually been confirmed. But Katt didn't stop there, because he also brought up parts of Steve's personal history, which only made the public conversation grow even louder. At the same time, Marjorie Harvey keeps showing flashes of a very high-end lifestyle, popping up in major events and linking up with powerful names, which keeps people watching closely. Before she met Steve, her life looked very different, and that contrast has people curious. Their story goes all the way back to a moment at a Memphis comedy club, where Steve has said he felt an instant connection the second he saw her. Some people call it timing, others say it was chemistry, and some think it was something deeper. But either way, that moment has become a huge part of how their relationship is told today. They connected fast in the beginning, but things didn't last long at first. Marjorie reportedly stepped away, with claims saying Steve wasn't as financially stable back then. Then everything changed in 2005 when they crossed paths again, but this time Steve had a hit sitcom and a much bigger spotlight on him, and their relationship picked right back up. But this is where the story starts to get more complicated. At that time, Steve was still married to his second wife, Mary Shackelford, and things get complicated right here. Mary later came forward and shared her side publicly, claiming there may have been overlap in the relationship timeline before their divorce was finalized. These are her claims, and they've been talked about for years, keeping the conversation alive.
Your father was upset with you for the way you finally responded to him. They said they felt like what he said about you was true because of the nature of your reaction.
Oh, well, see, first of all, I ain't really good at social media, so I didn't even know that was out there. But they can, like, really kiss most of the corners of my head. Just because a person sits on the show and don't hesitate or say or ah.
Mary also opened up about tough custody battles and legal disputes, describing a situation that left her feeling unfairly treated and emotionally drained. That perspective added even more weight to the story. But it's important to remember this is one side of a much bigger picture, because situations like this usually involve details the public never fully sees. Now this is where the narrative really starts to shift, at least based on what people online are saying. There are claims floating around suggesting Steve wasn't the one fully in control of these decisions, but instead may have been heavily influenced by Marjorie. None of this has been confirmed, but it's definitely turning up the intensity and keeping people locked into every detail of their story. Some sources have even claimed that Marjorie encouraged Steve to completely distance himself from his ex-wife and carefully manage how everything was shown to the public. Again, these are just allegations that have been circulating online, not confirmed facts, but they've definitely kept people talking. During that time, interviews and public statements from both sides were full of strong emotions, and instead of clearing things up, it made everything feel even more complicated in the public eye.
Eloquently, that don't mean it's true. That just don't mean it's true, man. Because we not in the same league. Oh. We shooting at two different baskets. I shouldn't even have said nothing. I think that's kind of like hate and jealousy. And hate and jealousy is a form of grief. You're grieving because obviously all them people you talking about have something you either want or are something that you...
As all of this unfolded, people started forming their own opinions fast, and Marjorie became a major topic in celebrity conversations everywhere. But that's not the only part of her past that gets attention. Before her relationship with Steve, she had previous marriages, and one of them has been heavily discussed in media reports for years, adding even more curiosity to her story. Her former husband, Jim Townsend, was connected to serious legal issues, with reports at the time mentioning investigations involving federal authorities. Some rumors have tried to link Marjorie directly to those situations, but there has never been confirmed public evidence showing she was involved in any wrongdoing. Jim Townsend was later charged in connection with attempting to purchase a large amount of illegal substances, turning it into a major case that gained widespread media coverage and kept his name in the headlines. Like a lot of high-profile stories, this one comes with a mix of confirmed facts and ongoing speculation, and people are constantly trying to figure out what's real and what's still just talk. One confirmed detail is that he was sentenced to life in prison and ended up serving 26 years before receiving a presidential pardon in 2017, which brought even more attention back to the situation. As for Marjorie, she was never charged with any crime, and she later filed for divorce, choosing to move forward with her life during what must have been a very difficult time. Now here's where things start raising eyebrows even more. Not long after that separation, Marjorie reportedly began a relationship with Donnell Woods, who was known as Lori Harvey's biological father. The two eventually got married in the early 2000s, adding yet another layer to an already complicated personal timeline that people keep trying to piece together.
And you're grieving, and the funeral becomes the podcast. So now let me...
And if the timeline feels a bit confusing, that's because it is. There are overlapping accounts about when certain relationships started and ended, which keeps people guessing and adds even more mystery to the full story. Steve and Marjorie have both said they first met back in the late 90s, dated briefly, and then went their separate ways before reconnecting in 2005. But online conversations keep questioning how those timelines actually line up with their past relationships, and that's where the debate keeps growing. None of these claims have been fully confirmed, but they continue to spark non-stop discussion and curiosity. At some point, the two found their way back to each other just as Steve's career was hitting a whole new level. From there, things moved fast, and their relationship quickly became serious, putting them right in the public spotlight. At the same time, Donnell Woods later dealt with legal issues of his own and served time in prison before being released in more recent years, which has also been covered publicly and added more attention to the overall story. Despite all the past controversy, questions, and speculation, Steve and Marjorie made things official and got married in June 2007. Steve also adopted her 3 children, Morgan, Jason, and Lori, bringing their blended family together in a big way. On top of that, Steve already had 4 biological children from previous relationships, making their household a large, complex family that continues to stay in the public eye.
For their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do an interview. Listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and that she's never been interviewed anywhere. And now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was going.
Over the years, they've often presented themselves as relationship mentors on TV, talking about love, personal growth, and keeping a strong family bond. That public image has been consistent, and a lot of people have looked to them for advice and inspiration when it comes to relationships. But behind that polished image, some reports suggest there could be more happening out of sight. According to claims from unnamed sources mentioned in media outlets, there have been tensions within the family that haven't been addressed publicly, which has had people asking questions and paying closer attention. These reports also suggest that Marjorie is very focused on Lori's public image and career, and that has sparked conversations online about whether all the children receive the same level of attention. It's important to remember these are unverified claims, but they've definitely added more speculation, especially with names like Michael B. Jordan being brought into the conversation. Some reports claim there may have been differences in expectations when it came to long-term plans, including talks about marriage and financial agreements like prenups, which are pretty common in high-profile relationships. That alone has caught people's attention, but it doesn't stop there. Another claim floating around online suggests family opinions may have played a role in how everything unfolded, even though nothing has been confirmed by anyone directly involved. Like much of this story, it's a mix of what's public and what's kept private, and only the people closest to the situation really know the full truth. Still, rumors continue to spread, including talk that Marjorie isn't a fan of prenups, which has sparked a lot of debate online and pulled even more eyes into the situation. Some critics have taken that idea and started questioning her intentions, while others push back and say views on relationships and finances can be very different, especially in high-profile circles where stakes are higher. At the same time, there have been claims suggesting Marjorie may have influenced Lori's past relationship decisions, including her split with Michael B. Jordan, but none of that has been confirmed publicly. These conversations tend to spread fast online, but at the end of the day, they're still based on speculation, not proven facts, even if they keep people talking non-stop. Katt Williams, though, didn't hold back at all when it came to his opinions. He openly questioned the dynamic between Steve and Marjorie, suggesting things might not be as perfect as they look from the outside. Those comments hit hard and instantly added more heat to an already intense conversation, pushing people to wonder what's really happening behind closed doors. With so many different stories, past controversies, and ongoing rumors all mixing together, people are forming their own opinions fast. Some see it as overblown drama, while others believe there's something deeper going on beneath the surface. But without clear confirmation, most of it still sits in that gray area of speculation, even if the conversation keeps getting louder.
Wife, I'm where I am. You said that about the first wife. You forget that? You told us it was her, then you went and married somebody else that think like a man. Like, what are you talking about? They think they can
Now the internet is going full detective mode, and it's getting wild. People are digging through old clips, interviews, and every awkward moment they can find, trying to piece everything together. They're analyzing body language, catching side eyes, and even breaking down how Steve reacts when Marjorie speaks, all to figure out who really holds the power in that relationship. It's turned into a full-blown online investigation, with every tiny detail being treated like major evidence. At the same time, not everyone is buying into the drama, and some people are pushing back hard. They're saying this whole narrative is getting blown way out of proportion, and that what's being called control could just be a strong partnership where both people know their roles. After all, living in the spotlight means every little move gets judged, and not everything is as dramatic as it looks from the outside. Still, the rumors refuse to slow down. Old interviews keep popping back up, especially moments where Steve joked about his marriage, and now people are looking at those clips in a completely different way. Some are saying those jokes hit differently now, while others argue people are just overanalyzing things that were never that serious to begin with. And then there's Katt, who keeps doubling down without always saying names directly, but everyone already knows who he's talking about. His supporters are standing behind him, saying he's been pointing out patterns in the industry for years and isn't afraid to speak up. To them, this is just another moment of him saying what others stay quiet about, and that's keeping the conversation going strong. That's why every time Katt even hints at something new, it spreads fast and gets people talking everywhere. What really has people debating is his bigger claim about how success in the entertainment world might come with certain expectations behind the scenes. There's no solid proof backing those ideas, but the way he delivers it makes people stop and question things they never paid attention to before. It's starting to feel like it's less about one person and more about the bigger picture he's painting. Meanwhile, Steve hasn't fully stepped away from the conversation either, and that just keeps the spotlight locked on this situation. Every mention, every response pulls more attention right back to the drama and keeps it alive in a major way. Now fans are completely split down the middle, and the opinions are getting louder by the day. Some people believe this is just exaggerated celebrity drama that got out of control, but others are convinced there's real tension hiding behind the polished image people see on TV. That divide is exactly what's keeping this story trending, and it's only getting bigger as more people start questioning how carefully public personas can really be shaped over time. People are starting to seriously question how much of what they're seeing is real and how much is just for the cameras. In Hollywood, image means everything, and once those doubts start creeping in, they don't just disappear. Instead, they grow louder and pull more people into the conversation.
Late, came down front with my girlfriend. Our seats were right here at the front, right by the stage. So we were sitting here. The stage was here. So he's just quiet. He just keeps staring at me. So I'm waiting on him to make me a part of the show so we can get on with the show. So he stayed quiet so long staring at me. Now everybody in the club is looking at me. And so he finally realized, okay, I got to say something. He was like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't know who this is.
Right at the center of it all, Steve and Marjorie are still presenting a united front, showing up together and staying consistent every time they're in public. But with so many rumors, claims, and opinions floating around, every single appearance now gets picked apart way more than before, and nothing goes unnoticed anymore. As long as both sides keep speaking, whether directly or indirectly, this situation isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Now people are digging up old clips of Steve giving relationship advice, and those speeches are getting a completely different reaction. Lines that once sounded motivational are now being replayed with a new perspective, and viewers are questioning whether he's speaking from real experience or just saying what sounds good on stage. It's wild how fast public perception can flip like that, and this situation proves it in real time. At the same moment, Marjorie's social media is getting way more attention than before. Every luxury trip, every designer outfit, every high-profile event, people are watching closely and trying to read between the lines. Some see it as pure success and confidence, while others are giving side eyes and questioning how much of it is real versus just image. Now, even the smallest details are turning into full conversations. A caption, a photo, a quick video clip. Nothing slips by anymore without people analyzing it from every angle. It's like everything posted instantly becomes part of a bigger story that keeps building. Once a narrative starts gaining traction online, it doesn't need much to keep going, and this one has serious momentum right now. There's also growing talk about how all of this could be affecting the family dynamic. Fans are comparing how often each of the kids shows up publicly and trying to figure out if there's any favoritism, which only adds more intensity to the situation. Even though none of these claims have been confirmed, that hasn't stopped people from forming strong opinions. Lori especially stays right in the center of the spotlight, and everything she does gets picked apart online. Every relationship, every appearance, every move she makes gets analyzed online, and now people are trying to connect it all back to what Katt has been hinting at. Whether that's fair or not is a whole different conversation, but one thing is clear, the attention on her isn't slowing down anytime soon. At the same time, others are calling out how fast rumors can start to feel like facts once they spread far enough. Just because something gets repeated over and over doesn't make it true, but in the world of viral content, that line can get blurry very quickly. What's really adding more intensity to this situation is the silence from the main people involved. When things heat up and rumors peak, that quiet response leaves space for even more speculation to grow. People start filling in the blanks on their own, and every unanswered question turns into a brand new theory online. Still, not everyone is buying into the negativity. Some fans are strongly defending Steve and Marjorie, saying they've built a solid brand and a lasting marriage, and that counts for something, despite all the noise surrounding them. In an industry where long-lasting relationships are rare, some people argue that what Steve and Marjorie have built still matters.
Think about how quickly he moved forward from me to Marjorie. That was...
They say no relationship is perfect, especially under constant public pressure, and that outsiders don't really know the full story behind closed doors. But then there's the other side, watching every move closely and waiting for something to slip. That group believes if there's this much smoke, then there has to be something worth questioning, and they're not backing off this topic anytime soon. With opinions clashing this hard, the conversation just keeps getting louder and more intense, pulling more people in every day. At this point, the story has taken on a life of its own, and everyone seems to have a completely different take on what's really happening. Some people are convinced this is just layers of rumors stacked on top of each other, building a narrative that may not even be real, while others believe there's something deeper hiding under the surface. And with so many clips, interviews, and claims floating around, it's getting harder to separate fact from speculation. What really keeps this conversation alive is how each side keeps bringing something new. One moment it's an old interview resurfacing, the next it's a new claim sparking fresh debate. And just when it feels like things might start cooling off, something new always pops up to keep the conversation going. A new clip, a repost, or even a small comment can suddenly bring all the attention right back, and people jump in fast with their own interpretations. It's like this story keeps refreshing itself, pulling in more reactions every single time. What's making it even more intense is how quickly opinions are formed and spread. One viral post can shape how thousands of people see the situation, even if the full context isn't there. That's how narratives grow so fast online, and once they take hold, they're hard to shake no matter what comes later. At the same time, the people involved are still moving forward with their lives and careers, at least on the surface. Public appearances, interviews, and social media posts all continue like normal, but now everything is being watched through a completely different lens. And that shift in perception changes everything, because once people start questioning the story, every detail starts to feel like a clue. And that's exactly why this situation keeps evolving instead of fading away.
Just by waiting for me, he turned my son against me, had me evicted from our house, thrown out all the businesses, all the money, the cars. At a moment when I was down and devastated, he maneuvered everything. He maneuvered manipulated the courts.
And now it's reached a point where even neutral moments aren't staying neutral anymore. Simple interviews, casual appearances, even quick interactions are getting dissected like they carry some hidden meaning. People are watching tone, timing, and reactions, trying to read between the lines and connect dots that may or may not even be there. What's really driving this forward is how divided the audience has become. One side is still calling this overanalyzed noise, saying the internet is turning normal situations into something bigger than they are. Meanwhile, the other side is convinced there are patterns that can't be ignored, and they're paying even closer attention every time something new surfaces. That tension between both sides is what keeps everything alive and constantly moving, because every new clip or comment doesn't just add information, it fuels debate, and the debate itself becomes part of the story. At this stage, it's not just about what's true or not, it's about perception. And as long as people keep questioning, reacting, and sharing their takes, this situation isn't fading into the background anytime soon. It turns into a viral comment, sparking brand new debates every single time. This situation never really cools off. It just shifts direction and pulls more people in again and again. Every new angle keeps the conversation alive, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. Now it's your turn to speak on it. What do you really think is going on here? Is this just internet drama getting blown way out of control, or do you think there's something deeper happening behind the scenes that people aren't fully seeing? Drop your thoughts in the comments and make your voice heard. And if you like breaking down stories like this and staying updated on all the latest twists, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with someone who's been following the drama too. Stay locked in, because situations like this always find a way to heat back up.